Have you ever wondered who is responsible for the rules that govern your daily life? State regulations play a crucial role in shaping everything from the food you eat to the safety of your workplace. In this video, we'll explore who actually makes these state regulations and why they are so important. Understanding this process helps us see how government decisions impact our lives and why it's essential to pay attention to how these rules are created. Let's start by looking at what state regulations are and why they matter to everyone, not just lawmakers or business owners. State regulations are rules created by state governments to manage specific issues within their borders. These rules can cover a wide range of topics, such as health, education, transportation, and environmental protection. Unlike federal laws, which apply to the entire country, state regulations are tailored to the unique needs and circumstances of each state. This means that what's allowed in one state might be restricted in another. Understanding the difference between state and federal regulations is the first step in grasping how our legal system operates at different levels. The process of creating state regulations involves several key players. State legislatures, made up of elected representatives, are responsible for passing laws that authorize regulatory agencies to develop specific rules. These agencies, such as departments of health or transportation, have the expertise to draft detailed regulations that put legislative intent into action. In some cases, governors or state executives may also play a role by issuing executive orders or guiding policy priorities. Together, these groups ensure that regulations are both practical and enforceable. State legislatures are at the heart of the regulatory process. These bodies debate and pass laws that set the framework for regulation. For example, a legislature might pass a law requiring clean drinking water, but it's up to regulatory agencies to decide the specific standards and enforcement methods. Legislators are elected by the public, so they are expected to represent the interests and concerns of their constituents when crafting these laws. This democratic process ensures that regulations reflect the values and needs of the state's residents. Once the legislature passes a law, regulatory agencies step in to handle the details. These agencies are staffed by experts in fields like health, education, or transportation. Their job is to write the specific rules that make the law work in real life. For instance, if a law requires safe food handling, the state health department will create regulations about food storage, preparation, and inspection. Agencies also monitor compliance and enforce the rules, making sure that everyone follows the law as intended. Governors, as the chief executives of their states, can have significant influence over the regulatory process. They may issue executive orders that direct agencies to focus on certain issues or set policy priorities. Governors also appoint the heads of many regulatory agencies, shaping the direction and tone of regulation. While they don't write regulations themselves, their leadership can determine which issues receive attention and resources, making them key players in the regulatory landscape. One important aspect of state regulation is public participation. Before a regulation becomes final, agencies often seek input from citizens, businesses, and other stakeholders. This can happen through public hearings, comment periods, or advisory committees. Public feedback helps agencies understand the real-world impact of proposed rules and make adjustments as needed. This process ensures that regulations are not only effective, but also fair and responsive to the needs of the community. State regulations have a direct impact on our daily lives. They set standards for everything from the quality of our drinking water to the safety of our roads. Without these rules, there would be confusion and inconsistency, making it harder to protect public health and safety. Regulations also help create a level playing field for businesses, ensuring that everyone follows the same guideline. In short, state regulations help maintain order, safety, and fairness in society. Let's look at a concrete example. Health regulations. State health departments create rules about vaccinations, restaurant cleanliness, and disease reporting. These regulations help prevent outbreaks and keep communities safe. For instance, during a public health crisis, agencies may require masks or limit gatherings to slow the spread of illness. By setting clear standards, health regulations protect both individuals and the broader public. Education is another area where state regulations play a big role. State education departments set rules for teacher qualifications, school safety, and curriculum standards. These regulations ensure that students receive a quality education and that schools operate safely and fairly. For example, regulations might require background checks for teachers or set guidelines for special education services. By establishing these standards, states help guarantee that every child has access to a safe and effective learning environment. Environmental protection is a major focus of state regulation. Agencies set rules for air and water quality, waste disposal, and land use. These regulations help prevent pollution and protect natural resources for future generations. For example, A state might limit emissions from factories or require recycling programs in cities. By enforcing these rules, states play a vital role in safeguarding the environment and public health. Transportation is another area shaped by state regulations. Departments of transportation set rules for driver licensing, vehicle safety inspections, and road construction standards. These regulations help keep roads safe and efficient for everyone. For instance, states may require regular vehicle inspections to ensure cars are safe to drive, or set speed limits to reduce accidents. By managing these details, state agencies help maintain a reliable and safe transportation system. Creating regulations is only part of the process. Enforcement is just as important. State agencies are responsible for making sure individuals and businesses follow the rules. This can involve inspections, fines, or even shutting down operations that violate regulations. Enforcement ensures that regulations have real-world impact and that everyone is held accountable. Without enforcement, even the best rules would be meaningless. The regulatory process includes checks and balances to prevent abuse of power. Courts can review regulations to ensure they comply with the law and Constitution. Legislatures can amend or repeal regulations if they are not working as intended. This system helps maintain fairness and prevents any one group from having too much control over the rules that govern us. The process of creating a regulation usually follows several steps. First, the legislature passes a law authorizing regulation. Next, agencies draft proposed rules and publish them for public comment. After reviewing feedback, agencies may revise the rules before adopting them as final regulations. This process ensures transparency and allows for input from those affected by the rules. It's a careful balance between expert knowledge and public participation. Transparency is a key principle in the regulatory process. Agencies are required to publish proposed regulations and provide opportunities for public input. This openness helps build trust and ensures that regulations are developed in a fair and accountable way. By making the process visible, states encourage participation and help prevent corruption or favoritism. Regulators must balance many competing interests when creating rules. They consider the needs of businesses, the safety of the public, and the protection of the environment. Sometimes, these interests conflict, and agencies must find compromises that serve the common good. This balancing act is at the heart of effective regulation and requires careful judgment and consultation with stakeholders. State regulations can have a big impact on businesses. Rules about licensing, safety, and environmental standards affect how companies operate. While some businesses may see regulations as burdensome, they also create a level playing field and protect consumers. By following the rules, businesses can build trust with customers and avoid legal problems. Individuals are affected by state regulations in many ways, often without realizing it. From the quality of the air we breathe to the safety of the products we buy, regulations shape our daily experiences. They also provide protections, such as workplace safety standards and consumer rights. By understanding how regulations work, individuals can better advocate for their interests and participate in the rulemaking process. Regulation is a core concept in government and law. It refers to the rules created by authorities to manage behavior and ensure order in society. Regulations can be broad or specific, and they are enforced by agencies with the power to monitor compliance and impose penalties. Understanding regulation helps us see how government shapes our world and why rules are necessary for a functioning society. A regulatory agency is a government body responsible for creating and enforcing rules in a specific area, such as health, education, or transportation. These agencies have the expertise to write detailed regulations and the authority to ensure compliance. They play a critical role in translating legislative goals into practical, enforceable standards that protect the public and promote fairness. Public comment is a vital part of the rulemaking process. It allows individuals, businesses, and organizations to share their views on proposed regulations. Agencies review these comments and may make changes based on the feedback. This process ensures that regulations are informed by real-world experience and reflect the needs and concerns of the community. Enforcement is the process of making sure that regulations are followed. Agencies have the authority to inspect, investigate, and penalize those who break the rules. Effective enforcement is essential for maintaining order and ensuring that regulations achieve their intended goals. Without enforcement, regulations would have little impact on behavior. Checks and balances refer to the system that allows different branches of government to limit each other's power. In the context of regulation, courts can review agency rules, and legislatures can change or repeal them. This system helps prevent any one group from having too much control and ensures that regulations are fair and lawful. Regulations are not set in stone. They can change over time as society evolves and new challenges arise. For example, advances in technology or shifts in public opinion may prompt lawmakers and agencies to update existing rules. Regular review and revision help ensure that regulations remain effective and relevant to current needs. Advocacy groups play an important role in shaping state regulations. These organizations represent the interests of specific groups, such as consumers, businesses, or environmentalists. They may lobby lawmakers, submit public comments, or participate in advisory committees. By voicing their concerns and suggestions, advocacy groups help ensure that regulations reflect a wide range of perspectives. Courts play a critical role in the regulatory process. If someone believes a regulation is unfair or illegal, they can challenge it in court. Judges review the regulation to ensure it complies with the law and Constitution. This judicial oversight helps protect individual rights and maintain the rule of law. Anyone can get involved in the regulatory process. You can attend public hearings, submit comments on proposed rules, or join advocacy groups. Staying informed about new regulations and sharing your perspective helps ensure that the rules reflect the needs of the community. Participation is a key part of a healthy democracy. Staying informed about state regulations is important for everyone. New rules can affect your job, your business, or your daily life. By keeping up with changes, you can adapt quickly and make your voice heard when it matters most. Many state agencies offer newsletters, websites, and public notices to help citizens stay up to date. Regulating complex issues is never easy. Agencies must deal with limited resources, conflicting interests, and rapidly changing conditions. Sometimes, regulations can become outdated or difficult to enforce. Recognizing these challenges helps us appreciate the hard work that goes into creating effective rules and the need for ongoing review and improvement. Regulations can have costs as well as benefits. Businesses may need to spend money to comply with new rules, and agencies require funding to enforce them. However, these costs are often balanced by the benefits of safer products, cleaner environments, and healthier communities. Understanding both sides of the equation is important for evaluating the effectiveness of regulations. Despite the challenges, regulations provide many benefits. They protect public health, ensure fair competition, and promote social welfare. By setting clear standards, regulations help prevent harm and create a more predictable environment for everyone. The benefits of effective regulation are often seen in safer communities and stronger economies. It's important to understand the difference between federal and state regulations. Federal regulations apply across the entire country and are created by national agencies. State regulations, on the other hand, are tailored to the needs of individual states. Sometimes, state rules can be stricter or more specific than federal ones. Knowing which rules apply to you can help you stay compliant and informed. Regulations can influence innovation in both positive and negative ways. On one hand, clear rules can encourage new ideas by setting safety standards and protecting intellectual property. On the other hand, overly strict regulations may slow down progress or make it harder for new businesses to enter the market. Striking the right balance is key to fostering innovation while protecting the public. As society changes, so do the challenges facing regulators. Emerging issues like climate change, new technologies, and shifting demographics require fresh approaches to regulation. States will need to adapt their rules to keep up with these changes, ensuring that regulations remain effective and relevant in the years ahead. Let's examine a real-world example: environmental rulemaking. Suppose a state wants to reduce air pollution. The legislature passes a law setting a goal, and the environmental agency drafts regulations limiting emissions from factories. The agency holds public hearings, revises the rules based on feedback, and then enforces the new standards. This process shows how different parts of government and the public work together to create effective regulations. During a health emergency, such as a pandemic, state agencies may issue new regulations quickly to protect the public. For example, they might require masks, limit gatherings, or mandate vaccinations. These emergency rules are often temporary but can have a big impact on daily life. The process still involves public input and oversight to ensure fairness and effectiveness. When states update education standards, the process involves lawmakers, agencies, teachers, and the public. For example, a state might revise math or science requirements to keep up with new research. Agencies draft new standards, hold public hearings, and make changes based on feedback. This collaborative process helps ensure that education regulations meet the needs of students and society. Transportation safety regulations are often updated in response to new technology or accident data. For example, states may introduce rules for self-driving cars or require new safety features in vehicles. Agencies consult with experts, draft regulations, and seek public input before finalizing the rules. This ongoing process helps keep roads safe as technology evolves. Technology is changing how regulations are created and enforced. Agencies use data analytics, online public comment systems, and digital monitoring tools to improve efficiency and transparency. Technology also helps agencies respond more quickly to new challenges and communicate with the public. As technology advances, it will continue to shape the future of regulation. Once a regulation is adopted, agencies must communicate the new rules to those affected. This can involve publishing the regulation online, sending notices to businesses, or holding informational meetings. Clear communication helps ensure that everyone understands their responsibilities and can comply with the rules. Effective outreach is essential for successful regulation. Agencies regularly evaluate whether regulations are achieving their goals. They collect data, review outcomes, and seek feedback from the public. If a regulation isn't working as intended, agencies may revise or repeal it. This ongoing evaluation helps ensure that regulations remain effective and responsive to changing needs. Fairness is a guiding principle in regulation. Agencies strive to create rules that are just and equitable, treating everyone equally under the law. This means considering the needs of all groups and avoiding discrimination or favoritism. Fair regulations help build trust in government and promote social harmony. To sum up, state regulations are created through a collaborative process involving legislatures, agencies, governors, courts, and the public. These rules shape many aspects of our lives, from health and education to business and the environment. By understanding how regulations are made and why they matter, we can better participate in the process and help ensure that the rules serve the common good. Understanding who makes state regulations and why they matter empowers us as citizens. These rules are not just abstract policies, they affect our health, safety, and opportunities. By staying informed and involved, we can help shape regulations that reflect our values and needs. Remember, the regulatory process is a vital part of democracy, and your voice can make a difference.